Yay! And good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your Sensei El Bob. Your griot here to tell you a story. We have about 51% battery, so this won't be a really long one, but I'm on the Bob, and I'm going to be going to all kinds of interesting different places, and so I will bring those stories to you. Today, I spent some time with some friends in central Tennessee, and I was driving back, and I stopped off at Fancy Schmancy Place for breakfast, and that was the show. Last night, I kind of slept in a ditch coming back from my friends. It was too dark, so I was out in the farmlands, and there was no traffic, and I pulled my car off the road so you couldn't see it, and kind of went to sleep in the ditch. I had a nice little sleeping bag and a little mat and a pillow, and it was like good old days, right? So anyway, so I was wondering how many you could just sleep in a ditch, right? Because you kind of look at what's going on around the world, and most folks don't even have a ditch to sleep in, right? So you look at Yemen and Syria, Egypt, Afghanistan, the folks who suffered, the floods in Pakistan, right? And there are environmental issues, in Africa, Darfur, Ethiopia. I can go on and on and on. And all these things aren't just environmentally caused, and they are also economically caused. And the wars are perpetrated by investors. And so what we need is an ability to realize that our lives are our own, right? That we are the deciders, that we are the reflection of love's co-creation, right? And what's going on, right? So my friend I was talking to, he's a philosopher, so we were going on about meaning to life, right? And I basically said all the religious and motifs of that nature are just a business plan. The real meaning to life is that we're here to experience, to not get a big car, not have a fancy house, not have a what do you call it? A trophy spouse. It's about, living your life in reflection of God's unconditional love. Right? That's what we're here for. Tuesday, today, we are on Thursday. Tuesday, we had an election, and again, it was scripted. I mean, the beauty of Donald Trump is that he's such a puddinhead, and he lies so much he tells the truth. He goes on and on about fake news. Well, that's true. All news is kind of fake, right? It represents who's ever paying for it, right? We had the best legislators money can buy. Why does Nancy Pelosi have a $40,000 refrigerator just for her ice cream? Things of that nature. So it doesn't matter, right? What matters is you. Are you doing your best? Are you being a good example for all those around you? Right? Are you servicing love's co-creation, right? In one love, right? And that's what Jesus did, and that's why he, came around. I mean, he's always here, but he popped up as a physical representation to give us a physical representation of what we should be doing. Okay, kids, you're trying real hard. I get it. It's tough. I get it. So here, let me give you a few pointers, right? First of all, your life isn't about you. It's about all our relations. It's about the we in me. How you doing with that? You doing good with that? The we and me?
My shift was over.
Ooh.
The waiter was pissed. Taking that order. I apologize.
Right. So anyway.
But I think it was you out. So I just wanted to apologize for that. No, wasn't ignoring
Let's see.
По всем практически основным направлениям возможного сотрудничества нет. Обороноспособность начала повышаться. Мы пытались выстроить отношения и с ведущими странами Запада, и с НАТО.
And he's going on about how it's all the West. Well, it is. But he's part of the West too. World events are very similar to the soap opera Mary Hartman. Go watch a few episodes on YouTube. Let's see if we can get that.
Отношения и с ведущими странами Запада.
Okay, enough for you. Let's see. Mary Hartman, soap opera.
Mary Hartman is a 1976 sitcom, 2 seasons, that first aired in 1976, and stars Louise Lasser, Mary Kay Place, and Greg Mullavey.
What do you know about Mary Hartman? Okay, what do I want to know about Mary Hartman? It was an existential comedy, right? I mean, it started out like watching paint dry on a wall, and then it got strange. What to know about Mary Hartman? This website stores data such as cookies. These are the devices. This is what we call surveillance economy. They know more about us than we know about ourselves. I didn't get a word that you said. Could you repeat yourself? That was my issues with the bureaucratic state.
Already voted by mail or through early voting. This is the first election in which members of Gen Z can run for Congress. Turnout among young voters today is being
trying to tell people that I was older anyway. And instead of being 13, I told him I was 50. And the next day it came out in the press that Jerry Lewis is here with his child bride Myra, who is 15 years old. And this was an incredible scandal. It was bad enough right then. Then the next day it came out, it said Jerry Lewis is here with his child bride Myra, who is real.
Gil Scott Heron. They took my man. The revolution won't be televised.
You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised.
Not televised.
The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia.
Yes, it won't be televised. Right? That's for sure. Anything you see on TV is basically a scripted cartoon. Right? It won't be televised. Let's see. Lana. Hey there, girlfriend. Let's see if I can raise my. I'm gonna call you on it right now, see if this works. Viber. There you are. I'm talking to you. Hey, the revolution won't be televised.
The revolution.
It won't be
Power
televised.
to the fucking people.
Yes, won't be televised.
Yeah, well, I think it started a long time ago.
Yep. Did you ever see or hear
Yeah.
Gil Scott-Heron, a musician?
No, you mean with the elections, or what do you mean?
Gil Scott-Heron is a 1970s, 60s. He's like the father of rap. He started hip hop like back in the 60s. He was a what is known as a spoken poet, and he was a jazz musician, and all his things were about political events.
All right, yeah.
So he was
The written word, yeah.
Yep.
Poetry.
And his most notable that made it on the top 10 of Billboard was "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised." So if you were to go Google,
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, I think, Bob, it kind of has to be the perfect storm for a revolution.
right, and it never happens. There has never been the communist revolution. You name the revolution, it's always been.
I mean, the communist revolution. There's a war going on still. We just keep forgetting that. Shit comes in our way.
Yeah, but those wars are done to make money for Lockheed and General
I
Electric.
know.
And
I know.
And the Russian
Stupid.
Revolution was the same thing, meaning Marx and Engels were in German prisons, and Mr. Rothschild, the number one banker, got them out of jail, brought them to England, to London, bought them a house in Hyde Park, and paid for them until they died, and their kids, he sent them to school. And that's where they wrote, the Communist Manifesto, being paid for by the biggest capitalists on the planet. Meaning communism was your basic loyal opposition,
Yeah, but I think like communism, it's in theory, it's actually pretty beautiful in theory. Not all of it.
Right.
But I mean, like equal rights and everybody
Right.
sharing bread and everything. It's beautiful, but in practice, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
It's impossible.
Right. Because and that's why they wrote it, because
We need a new one,
right.
a new ideal.
Well, the ideal, I've been talking about this thing called the alternative aesthetic for a good 40 years. And the basic of the alternative aesthetic is, instead of materialism, we focus on the we in me. Our lives aren't about ourselves, it's about everybody. The we in me.
Yeah.
Right?
Because we depend on each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We're the only animal on the planet that depends on each other. All the other animals don't. They fit.
That's why they don't survive a lot.
And if they were left alone, that's why they do survive.
Except turtles.
Yeah.
Turtles.
Yes.
And one more.
But
well, I don't know, Bob. Thanks. I mean,
so
what do you think about humanity right now?
Same as it ever was. There is no real
same shit.
Yeah.
Different name.
Yeah, exactly. Same as it ever.
Okay.
And that's why end of times ain't coming anytime soon. Until we get our act together, we're just going to keep doing the same stupid shit. And yes, a lot of people will suffer and a lot of people will die and a lot of things will get screwed up. But
Yeah.
until an asteroid hits this planet and wipes us out, we're just going to keep, doing the same stuff until we change, until we realize it's the we and me and not me. Right?
Yeah. The thing is, it's. I mean, like we should be thankful because thankful and also like it's a curse and it's a blessing that we have the internet.
Right.
Because you're the century, my century, and younger and in betweens. We all experience different times, and I experienced both of them because I'm born in 85.
Right.
And so I experienced the manual without the internet and the internet era.
Right.
But I really don't like this era right now. It's so superficial and everybody flips out and nobody has boring time anymore. Like learn to have a boring time.
Right.
Meaning
But
think about anything.
you have to
Just
be conscious to do that. I mean, a couple of weeks ago when the leaves started falling off the trees, I just sat in my front lawn and watched it for a whole day. Right.
Wow.
And
yeah, I remember you told me that.
And my, anxious Floridian neighbor, he was just driving all up and down and doing this and doing that. And in the middle, after driving by me about 5 times, he stopped and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just enjoying the day, watching the leaves fall off the trees." "You're crazy." And he drove away, right? So,
Yes, that's crazy.
yeah, exactly. So, that's.
How are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good. I'm about to go on the bop. I'm about to
Okay.
pack things up and hit the road.
All right. How does it feel?
I have no idea where I'm going or what I'm going to do, but I'm pretty excited. I have lots of different places to go, and
Nice.
I'm going to let the universe. I'm first going.
Decide.
Right. I'm going to go to Virginia first, and West Virginia, and then points
All right.
in any different direction. Who knows?
All right. Mm-hmm.
So, I have friends in New York
That's cool.
who want me to come and visit, so I might be in New York. And there are other, like some friends in Maryland on the coast, and I got some friends up in Boston. And right.
And Central.
And gas are not the perfect and have at the moment, and we are being forced to move away from.
I mean, they're not wrong. They're not wrong, but we still need. Even for hybrid cars.
Get almost 80% of their electricity from nuclear power, and not our kind of nuclear, but thorium nuclear power, which is nuclear power from seawater, right? Not uranium, seawater.
Okay.
So there are no isotopes.
Ask you something. Then afterwards, I'm gonna merge it. Plan B, Plan C, and so.
No, but what I'm saying, there's an alternative called thorium that is not uranium. You don't have to dig it up. You just pump, and that's what the French use, right? Now, how come the rest of the world?
There are a lot of people there. Yeah.
And how come the rest of the world doesn't do that? Because the rest of the world wants to make a profit. And the only reason why France is thorium is because General de Gaulle wanted a power source for France that he didn't have to buy from the Arabs or anybody else, right? And so that's why it is, right? But the rest of the world went along with Mr. Rothschild and went for oil and coal and uranium because it made him a lot of money, and it made nuclear weapons, and it made things to have wars over, right? You can't have a war over a resource that is the ocean.
And also, I mean, if you think about it, Bob, some generations, and like if I'm 37 now, and healthy.
Yep.
Knock on wood.
Yep.
But I mean, I'm thinking how many years left do I have to live? If I make that decision and I'm let's say 70, or
Can you
65,
give me a box?
I'll
of
make
that?
another
I
decision
can.
because
What's for
you don't want to
dessert?
think about
We
yourself
have
and your
strawberry
generation. Like,
cake with vanilla icing and vanilla ice cream to go with it.
I'll have it.
You have a piece?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm having lunch. I just ordered dessert.
okay, nice. What is it?
Strawberry cake with vanilla icing and vanilla ice cream.
Ooh,
You know,
nice.
kind of like strawberry shortcake, but
Nice.
with icing.
That sounds good though.
So I went and visited a friend last night, and we kind of talked about everything. He's a theologian, philosopher at a university. We talked and talked and talked. And then I was heading home, and it got too dark. I couldn't see, so I slept in a ditch, just for the practice, just for the practice of it. It was a nice night. The stars were out. It was in the 60s, so it wasn't really cold, and so I did that. And so when I woke up with the sun, and it was a sunny morning. It's clouding up now. I drove into the big city of Johnson City, and they have a really super duper fancy hotel with a super duper duper fancy restaurant. I went and had breakfast there, right? So I had, really high end breakfast, and it only costed me $3 more than if I had breakfast at McDonald's.
Wow, that's fucking amazing.
And that's what, if you're gonna live a life, spend that extra $3.
Yeah, live that life.
Instead of getting a
life.
motel room, I slept in a ditch, so I had that $17, too. And they were very nice. They let me stay there as long as I wanted. They just kept me giving me more and more coffee. I didn't have to pay for the refill, and they actually had real silverware and linen. Crisp with fruit, berries, and whipped cream, and
Nice.
You know what grits are?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Hey, grits and two eggs over easy, right? So that was
The thing, I know what it is, and
Right.
I've read about it, but
Right.
I'm so curious in tasting it.
well. Did you
But
have?
I don't dare do it myself. I mean,
Did you ever have polenta? The Italian polenta.
not that either.
No. Well, they're both the same thing.
Polenta.
They're both.
Okay.
They're cornmeal basically. That's what grits is.
Okay.
Cornmeal, but
Okay.
but
Yeah.
more finely ground, right? Almost to powder.
Okay.
So when you add water and boil it, it turns into like gravy, but cornmeal.
Yeah. Oh, my god. Oh shit.
You got
I don't even have to be high to be like, whoa.
yeah, baby, and you put
That sounds awesome.
some real creamy butter on top of that
Wow.
with a little Parmesan sprinkled with
Beautiful.
with dill, and boy, it's yum. So that's what I had.
Nice.
Right. So,
Wow.
and like I said, it was just
That's
$3 more than McDonald's,
so worth it.
Yes, and that's
So
Americans.
worth it.
Americans don't, and the other people. So all the people who were in there were like they were rich. They had their suits.
Okay.
Virtually every stayed at this hotel because they were all probably business people going to meetings. Johnson City's kind of a business town.
Yeah.
And I walked in there kind of looking like, a homeless kind of guy. They didn't even blink. What do you want, sir? Do you want a booth or a table? So I'll take a booth.
Oh.
Oh, look at that, baby. Ooh.
In there.
Here, I'm gonna turn
I
on the.
can see, but that sounds
hold
yummy.
on, I'm putting on the video camera there. Can you? Here we go. Can you see that?
Oh wow.
Yes. And Lisa makes all that for herself, right? And so this
Wow.
this is a real good down home restaurant. Everything is down home.
That's beautiful.
This is like
That's awesome.
one of the last few. When I got here, there were a ton of these places. Now there's just 2 or 3.
That's a shame.
Oh boy.
The thing is, fat is so good for your brain. I recently discovered that.
Oh yeah.
Like, Yeah, brain food,
That mango.
basically.
I mean, there's something about having a made from scratch baked good. You know, it's not from a box.
Yep.
Yep, it's the real deal.
Yep. It's with love. I mean, you can feel somebody took care of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody actually put their energy.
Yeah, that's Lisa. That's why this place is so good.
And also, I love looking at people eat and they eat good. Like some people, they eat like the way I want it. Like, but
Yeah.
I'm a slow eater.
Me too. Yeah,
And everybody hates it.
I don't gobble it down. I want to experience every morsel.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't understand that with like eating like that. I'm like always thinking, dude, are you in prison? I've been eating like that once when I used to work for IKEA in the wear store, and I put like a bought soup, warmed it up, and I ate like I was in prison. Like, don't touch my food with my elbows. And then I was like, what the fuck's wrong with me? I don't usually eat like this. So I got into that mentality. Fucking IKEA.
So you gave up IKEA.
I hate IKEA. I hate like when they point you to go. You know, like the rules that they made up. Like when you go through the warehouse, they took it from a slaughterhouse when cows go.
Right.
Do you understand that?
Oh,
That means,
yeah,
like,
oh, yeah.
we heard.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, we have to go through everything. That's why you cannot go to IKEA and not buy anything because you just, oh shit, I might need that.
Right.
So I usually take the shortcuts. And I'm like, no.
Stay on the line. Put your head in the trough.
Hell no.
Yep.
Mm-mm. I'll stay online when it's time to stay online, when it makes sense, but not IKEA. Nah. And I also have that like this computer that says all the workers. It takes like 6 days. Everything is said. Everything in a computer, and it kind of like an algorithm, but IKEA. And it says this is a medium worker, this is a high class worker, whatever for the next if you want to switch late. I mean, like that was insane, Bob. I mean, I'm 120 pounds. And I had to do boxes to send home to people for delivery on the bed. And they were also 120 pounds, 60 kilos, 70 kilos. And I'm 55. I'm like, what the fuck? So I have to like use like the body in a different way.
Right. It wasn't designed that way either.
No, the asshole that hired me told me like this is a post office, so that the most you be carrying is 10 kilos.
Right.
And the packages was the same weight as I, like chairs and big stuff. And but I made it work. Like you have to like, and never mind. It wasn't like a good experience.
Right.
Anyway.
Right.
Oh,
It was a learning experience.
Exactly.
That's how I view
And I'll
virtually everything.
Oh, yeah, life is interesting.
Yep.
Why congrats? Yummy, yummy, yummy. I got love in my tummy.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I like this one too. So,
Yeah.
Lana, you and I are the only two on the chat here.
Yeah, people are busy. Leave them be.
Leave them be. Well, you know, most people watch this show not live, but after.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you've got time, because shit happens.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And people know the show isn't like that they have to watch it live, you know.
No, I do that sometimes. I go after. Sometimes then I watch it. And depends on what happens in life. Because, I mean, like, talking with you, I like talking with you live. Because you're Bobo. You're the dude.
I'm the dude.
And you're the dude.
And my friends are extra special, like you.
You're pretty. You know, you're pretty. You know that you're special. Don't even.
Yeah,
man.
I don't
You
think
know
I
that.
will. Yeah.
Come on. You know what I was thinking, Bob? We kind of need some philosophy, philosophy
Right.
school, because we don't have it at all out in Sweden. I want to like give some thoughts, give some space to the thoughts,
Mhm.
so you connect them.
Well, have you caught me? You remember when you called me and my friend Magic Man was on? You and I were talking, and then my friend called in, and the three of us were talking.
Yeah,
I think it was the last time we talked. And
yeah.
so he and I do a show where we are pretty philosophical, and he plays all these characters. Have you heard him play the characters?
No,
He,
I just heard something about
he plays a
Georgia.
yes, he's a Southern gentleman too. So
That's interesting.
so he has these personas that he plays. So, and we basically talk about philosophy and things of that nature. And he's the comic foil, and I try to stay my Bobo self. And so
Yeah, you be yourself.
right. And so I'm here. He is. He's got this week off, so I'm calling him now so the three of us can talk.
He's gonna be an Indian Swedish guy.
Right. Yep. And Southern gentleman.
Please leave your message for
Oh God damn it.
Right. He didn't pick.
Yeah, well, it wasn't the timing.
No. So did it get to be winter where you are now yet? Has it gotten cold where you are, Len?
If it's cold, I mean, here in Gothenburg,
Yeah.
no, it's imagine London. I
Mhm.
call it Little London.
Mhm.
It's just gonna be fog, a lot of fog, and a lot of rain, and sometimes you see like the fall,
Right.
and it's beautiful.
Right.
But I love the air now. I love the crispy air.
I'll leave your ticket for your cake right here.
Okay.
Did they give you a ticket for your?
Yes. Somewhere.
Put it over there with your book.
Yep.
Is everything good?
Yeah.
Cake good?
Yeah. Oh boy, was that cake ever good?
Okay,
Even
great.
people in Europe like it.
Really
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well,
Sweden
where
and
are
Welsh.
they in Europe?
Huh?
Where are they located in Europe?
She's in Sweden.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
But it's gorgeous there.
Yeah.
Beautiful cake.
Well, can I get you anything else?
I'm good.
All right. Just let me know.
Maybe a little. No, I got enough water. I'm good.
Okay. Certainly.
Yep,
Just let me know.
Okay.
No good?
So that's
I
Southern.
like your.
That's Southern hospitality there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like it.
Gutenberg is one of my favorite towns. I really like that town.
You should come here again
Yeah, I should.
sometime.
I need to get a passport. I've let all that kind of stuff. I tried this summer to get all the paperwork, and it just was like ridiculous. So I just said, screw it. I mean, I now have I have all the forms and all that. And
Yeah. Maybe it's just not the timing right now.
No.
It comes later.
Right.
I'm guessing you're gonna be pretty fucking old, man. I'm sorry.
It's all
You're gonna
relative.
live a-
It's all relative. My dad lived to
I
be
know.
98, and he always said, I feel like I'm 16. So,
Yeah, probably because he is like 60.
yeah,
I
he
can't
was.
see you anymore.
Yes, he had. Right. And when he hung out with me, I said, listen, Dad, I only hang out with you when you are your fun self. When you're being a jerk,
Oh my god, I hate that. So stupid.
I'm not going to be around you. What if I pull down a chair or down the stairs or whatever? I said, you better be having a good day because I'm not coming unless. So someone asked, what's for lunch? Well, I already had lunch, and I had turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, and cabbage.
Oof.
Right.
Wow.
All the real
Wow.
deal. Nothing. From all the real deal. I mean, it's real turkey. Like
Wow.
real turkey.
Yeah.
In
A real
fact,
turkey.
I had turkey the other day, and it was like I couldn't tell whether it was ham, like the kind of deli meat you get really thin.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the turkey was.
Yeah.
And they called it turkey
Wow.
dinner. I said, no, this is like synthetic turkey, but
Yeah.
this turkey was
It's not the real deal.
right. This was the real deal. So,
Wow.
and if I go to Virginia or West Virginia, how much battery do I have left? Oh, I got plenty of battery, 26%. So, yeah, this Thanksgiving. Does Sweden have a Thanksgiving? Do you have a
No,
How,
I
what,
don't know.
what
No.
what are the special Swedish holidays other than Christmas and Easter and those kind of things?
Well, one thing that is actually Swedish, without any religion getting into it,
Right.
it's called midsommarafton. It's midsummer.
Oh yeah,
evening.
yeah. I remember being there. That's where everyone
Yeah.
parties down like they're a nymph.
Yeah. They actually they have this pole that's made of sticks of stone, not sticks of stones, just leaves,
Right.
and it's shape of a penis.
Right.
And everybody dances around it like frogs.
Yeah, like
it's
a
supposed to be
maypole.
the sperm.
Yeah, like a maple.
Yeah, and it's for fertility.
Right.
It's from the whale back days.
Right.
That's still left.
Right.
No religion, just basic Swedish.
So is that summertime or springtime?
Summer, June.
Right.
It's like in the middle of the summer.
Yep,
So I guess people make a lot of babies then.
Right.
Those months
Well,
because they're naked.
Well, they never go to sleep. The sun is always up where you live.
No, it's not. It's just in the north.
Oh, okay.
No, in the south. I mean, in the south where I'm at, it's just fucking gray and dark, basically.
Right.
And Stockholm has like 260 more Sundays than Gothenburg. So Gothenburg is more like in the Norwegian,
Mm-hmm.
and I call it Little London
Yeah.
because the fog is like Jack the Ripper.
Yes, I liked it.
Yeah.
I love being down by the where the ships come in, and all those
Yeah,
bars that
yeah.
are down there. I used to hang out down there. And you're right,
Prominent, yeah.
because I used to take the
They've
ferry.
taken that away.
I used to take the ferry from Swansea in
Yeah.
England to Gutenberg,
Huh?
and
That's cool.
those ferries were like wild parties. Once the boat left the harbor, there were no
Yeah.
rules. It was like everything off the hook.
I think Bob, you would thrive here, especially like in the city, because every piece of the city has its own culture.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's one that is called the Iron. If I translate directly, Iron Square.
Mm-hmm.
And there's artists, journalists, everything like that. Like they all gather around there. And Masthugget, it's more like.
Is the milk glass still around? When I lived there was a old abandoned dairy building, where they bottled milk, and it was a gigantic kind of factory. I mean, and it had a big, where the trucks came in, like an atrium almost, like big space, at least 20,000 square feet. That big doors you went in, and the whole ceiling was glass. Everything was glass. So the sun and late at night, you could see the stars really well. Is that?
Wow.
And it was a place where, the artists lived, and they raves. Before raves were raves, they had raves there. Does that ring a bell?
No, it's not. No.
That was like
No building.
that was probably 74.
Yeah, no, I think it's gone. I mean, like, I'm thinking, I can imagine a bit where you were those days. Probably were on the island. Do you remember? There's a bridge.
Yes,
Gothenburg?
yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
you probably were in Hisingen.
Right. Yep, exactly. It's where
That's actually where
the metal.
they've changed all that.
Right. Because that was
Now
where
it's,
that was where everyone squatted. No one paid rent. So many people squatted that you could get a phone and electricity turned on in a squatted building.
Yeah.
They don't have that anymore. do they?
No. It's everything is gone, and they build apartments.
Right.
Really, really, really expensive ones.
Right.
I really don't understand how people can manage that. I mean, like having some apartments costing with your currency, like
Right.
say $400,000
Right.
for one apartment house
To buy
in
it or
fucking
to rent
Gothenburg.
it? To buy it or
To
rent
buy.
it? To buy.
To buy.
But
Yeah.
and then you
And,
still have
and
to
then-
pay keep up fee, right? You buy it.
Yeah,
and then you
every
still,
month,
yeah,
$300, and also insurance
Mhm.
and everything. Because in Sweden we pay taxes to
Right.
pay taxes to
Right.
pay taxes, so
Right.
we pay a lot of tax.
Oh, I know. I live
Um,
there. I was amazed. Things like you buy a bottle of wine, it was $50. You know, you buy
Yeah,
a
yeah.
pack of cigarettes, it was like $20. You know, and this was like in the
Yeah,
suburbs.
and you can't buy it in a regular store.
No.
There's one store only for that, and it's state owned.
Right.
It's called Systembolaget System. I don't know, blah blah blah.
And when I was there was only one TV channel, and you had to pay taxes
Yeah.
on your TV antenna.
Yeah,
Right?
I know. There's actually 2 SVT
Right.
and number 4.
Right.
And actually, I fought those guys
Right.
because, or like 6 years ago, I was with his boyfriend and we broke up, and he
Right.
took the TV, and I gave him the TV. And
Right.
he did take it. I gave him,
Right.
and these fucking assholes, they send them like to your door.
Right.
Because this rule was made in the 50s, and nobody had a TV back then.
Right.
So those who had TV had to pay. So the rest, I mean, like now everybody has a TV.
Right.
But I didn't, in fact. And so I'm sorry, I don't have TV, but I know where you are, so I'll hit you up when I get a TV.
Right.
And that asshole billed me anyway because they got provision on every time they took somebody.
Right.
So I got pissed.
Right.
Because right then I was in a breakup and everything, and I was like, "Do you have the energy to fight this shit?" I was like, "Fuck this shit! This asshole is going down." So I was calling them all the time, and then this thing went up to the to the court.
To court.
And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? So you mean that taxpayers' money are going on this, and I
Right.
still don't have a fucking TV?"
Right.
I'm like, "I'm sorry, dude. I know that you're just working here. I know it's not your fault and everything.
Right.
Sorry for my voice of tone, but this is ridiculous." And then I called the Konsumentverket. It's called Consumers.
Right. Consumer affairs.
So like
Consumer
yeah,
affairs.
right. And they told me to go to and I talked with that guy for 2 hours, and he
Right.
told me his stories about TV
Right.
license that he didn't pay. And I was like, what the fuck? And then he said how I have to go to the papers. So I did that. And I was with this fucking journalist for 3 months. And in the end, I won. Like,
Right.
but it wasn't like for the money. It was just, it's not fucking right. I did not have a TV.
So
And
my
that asshole did that.
so my Swedish TV story was, so I was living in a little town near Gothenburg, not in Gothenburg per se, right? And I would travel. My friend was a musician, so we traveled all over Sweden. And he's a boy from Boston, a Southie. He meets a Swedish girl, and he doesn't want to go to Vietnam, so he goes off with her, marries her, becomes a Swedish thing. And he's a folk singer, so he learns Swedish folk songs, and he becomes super duper great. You know, this when ABBA was starting, and he was the alternative to ABBA. Anyway, and he spoke Swedish really good, and not so much me. So I would go with him, and we traveled, and we would go to other countries. So we went to Italy, right? We're in Italy, and he's playing.
Italia.
And so I'm at the market, and this guy is selling. You know what rabbit ears are? It's like the antenna that you put on top of your TV instead of going outside. It's this little plastic, right, thing that's 2 little things that go out and they look like rabbit ears, right? So I said, how much are those? And he goes, oh, in American, 50 cents. I said, for the whole thing? I said, yes. And he goes, I go, give me 100. So when we went back to Sweden, I brought 100 of these rabbit ears, right? And I sold them to people, his friends and other people I knew, who were sick and tired of being, they were paying like, $80 a month to get one channel of TV from like 6 in the evening till 11, right? And it was only because there was an antenna on their roof. That's how they would go around and charge people. So I sold them this 50 cent rabbit ears for people I didn't know. I charged them $50, and they thought that was a steal. And they took the antenna off the roof and they used the rabbit ears. And so that's my Swedish TV story. And I did a lot of that. I used to
You did an investment.
I used to go to Germany and buy Mercedes for nothing. Right?
Yeah.
It's like buying
Wow.
a crappy car in Germany. And I buy, a 10-year-old Mercedes. I was still in good shape. And
Wow.
I would drive it up to Sweden and sell it to somebody and trade them money and their Saab or their Volvo, right? And then I would drive those cars down. I don't know why, but people in Italy loved Saabs and Volvos. No idea why.
Yeah, Saab, yeah.
Right, so.
Yeah, but they're special Saab.
Yeah.
I mean, they do the airplane.
Oh yeah, no,
airplanes.
it's like driving.
Same company.
It's like driving a fighter plane.
Yeah, they're pretty special.
Yeah. I'm an airplane kind of guy, so I know all about.
Yeah, you should know that.
Yeah, I know the.
Yeah, Saab is really special.
Right. Well, Sweden is quite interesting. They are number 8 in the military-industrial complex world. So there's United States, Britain, they're number 8. They're in the top 10. Sweden is the top. They make,
that's fucking.
They make tanks, jet planes, submarines, and cruisers that they sell to the rest of the world. Right? So, they're.
Yeah, I know. But we don't. We just because there used to be like a law, but not a long time ago. But they took it off. I was, what am I, 37, 20 maybe? Not 18, whatever. It was, but they took it's called like the duty of war. You have to do the
Everyone had to join the army. So did you join the army?
And they took that off.
Did you do?
No, it was only for males back then.
Oh.
So they never put in females before they took it off.
Right.
So nobody actually, they don't have the personnel to. So now we would actually need that law,
right?
Because youths would have it so good with a bit of discipline in life,
right?
With instead of TikTok and everything.
But the Swedish still have a military. I mean, you can join the military if you want to, right?
Yeah, but I think I've done my part for this country, though. I believe
I'm not saying that you have to join, but anyone who wants to join the military can join, right? They have a military.
Yeah, of course.
And I always believed in mandatory service, meaning,
that's it. That we used to have that.
Right, and so when I, during the Vietnam War, and I got drafted, and I went down there, and they said to me, "We don't trust you with a gun. So how are you going to do alternative service?" I said, "Great, I'll do alternative service." So I did.
Yeah.
And that's when I really realized that everyone in America, meaning you can be a citizen, but not an American, right? If you're in America, everyone who comes here should have the right to live here. If they can get their ass here and be a positive influence, they should do it, right? So, but to be a citizen, and there would be, how American immigrants, who's ever.
Then one day when I was 15,
right?
I had this dude. I mean, now afterwards, it's weird that a 40-year-old dude would spend time and ask 15-year-old girl why she likes America.
Right.
But he was a Nazi. And anyway, so he was like, "Why do you like America so much?" And he was not an American lover. I was like, "I love it so much because it may be like a teenager in the world. I mean, if you compare it to other countries, still, it's still the most beautiful because they have the best of everything, best of us all. And it's one country united. That is what makes you the best.
Right. And
you're united.
And the thing is, we are like a metronome. We the thing moves to the left, and we're to the left, and then it moves to the center, and then it goes right, and then it goes left,
Natural.
and so we're see the guys like the Carrot Head. He make America great again. Well, it was never great because America is always a work in progress.
Yeah, but you have everything. You have the best, everything. That's what makes America the best. That's why we all love it.
Right. Well, and most of that best of everything is more or less the movie. It's like an image with little substance. I mean, you're right. Everything you're talking about is right, but it's not the best. It's in the process of working towards being the best. That is really the best thing about America is we're working overall to be our best. Not everyone, but pretty much everyone does that. And whether you're nuts or crazy or any of the above, you think you're working towards being the best. And it also allows more than any place else in the world. If you want to come here and you have a dream and you want to spend all of your time doing that, you can become successful at that,
Yeah.
Now, that success, existentially or philosophically, is kind of like prison, because you see some guy who owns a business, and yes, he's making money, and he's got a nice house, a nice car, kids go to school, but he's working like 90 hours a week. And
you have to pay a lot for that. Yeah.
Right. And so that's America. It's got all these interesting push me, pull you kind of motifs. And it's
but it's a big nation, Bob. I mean, like seriously, man, Sweden is the size of California, maybe.
Right. Or not
so,
even.
I mean, like.
Yes, exactly.
So we're like only 10 million here.
Right.
So I mean, like.
Yes.
Big country for 10 million, but still.
Right. And California has like 70 million people.
Exactly.
One
Can
state.
You imagine the difference?
Right. One state. Yeah.
So I mean.
So America's at a very interesting position that the powers that be who manipulate people here, they are losing their grip on things, and that's why things are getting so strange. Because they have to push things into strange corners to force people to do what they want them to do, right? And that's one reason why we're having a war in Russia and Ukraine, because that was a setup, And I'm pretty much, I keep calling it the war of the two Vlads, And I am sure. I mean, this is just my opinion.
Theory,
that both of those guys are working for the same guy, because the war makes no sense, right? Vladimir Putin's supposed to be a really smart guy, but none of it makes sense, So, and what the Ukrainians are doing doesn't make any sense either, because if they, they're at a place where they should just say, okay, everyone stop shooting, let's go to the table, let's work this out, because they keep fighting, they're going to lose thousands of people, and their whole country is going to be blown up.
Their pride makes you go nowhere.
I know, and
that's. I mean, it's good in some cases, but not a lot of it.
And see, where I grew up in New York City, there was everybody, every kind of people there was. So I knew a lot of Ukrainians and Albanians and Russians, and you name it, I knew them, right? The people who were the most badass you didn't want to mess with were the Ukrainians, right? I mean, they were very nice if you didn't piss them off, They were loads of fun to be with. They had great food, all the above. But if you pissed them off, they would not give in. They would, keep at trying to kill you until you were dead. Your dog was dead. Your mother was dead. So
they were rude.
Yes. So it's yes. Where Albanians, they were pretty hard case, but they were more common sense. They would at a certain point go, okay, they'd be kicking your butt.
Fine, we can be wrong.
Yes, it'd be kicking your butt, and then okay. It was very interesting, and that's
Uh,
what
well,
most people aren't exposed to that kind of diversity. I mean, that's really the one
Oh.
thing that makes humans different from every other species is that
Hmm.
humans can work together. You know, maybe 10 monkeys can work together to steal bananas from the tourists, but not 100 million monkeys can't work together. You know?
No.
But
Yeah.
human beings can do that. That is the amazing
Yeah.
thing. And it's
Common ground.
right. It's one of the best things about humans, and also the scary thing about humans, because why we are eating the planet alive is we're basically kind of doing it together. we're being we're being manipulated, motivated by some pretty slimy characters who are just doing this to make a few bucks right here, right now, and don't care about anything else. But
Yeah.
the thing about humans is that at a certain point, they say, "No, I'm not doing that anymore." You know?
No, I mean you should listen to that voice in your gut. That usually is the right one. And also, I mean, like sometimes you can't help but I mean, like me, I don't do social media since
Right.
911 because I just don't want to.
Right,
And now I feel like you feel like disconnected from the world because you know that everybody's doing it.
right,
And 2 years ago, I put on Facebook again, and I was like, shit, I suck at this shit. And it's not because I suck at it. I just don't want to do it.
you
'cause
don't
get
want to do it.
addicted
Right, right,
To that.
right.
Yeah, I get addicted in a stupid way, and I'm like,
I mean,
Shit.
my scene is I'm very comfortable with my own company. You know, I can be out there in the middle of the
yeah,
woods.
that's
You
say
know,
that again. You don't have to talk anymore tonight.
No.
That's the best part.
yeah,
Be
and
comfortable in your own
and if I
company.
want to talk to somebody, you know, like last night, I went and
Yeah.
to see my friend who's the head of this library, and he took me out to lunch, and we had a great little. But I got to get back to work. I said, okay, so you're going to get out of work in about 2 hours, so why don't I run my errands and I'll come back and I'll stay at your house and we can talk all night long. So we did. And then
Nice.
he had to get up in the morning, so he said, he had a really funky place. He had no place for me to sleep. So I said, okay. So I started to drive back and I couldn't see too well. And I found, I knew every inch of the road. So I knew where this place I could just pull off. And I had a nice sleeping bag and one of those Mylar blankies. And I had a tarp and a little mat. And I just kind of put it down and it was beautiful. It's like in the 60s, not a cloud in the sky. The moon had set, the stars were beautiful. So I looked at them for a while and I fell asleep. And I woke up with the sun in my face and I went, drove 10, 15, 20 miles and went to that fancy schmancy place and had a great breakfast and then ran some more errands. And then I came to my lunch spot and I called you, right? And so that's all I had to do. I don't need Facebook, right?
No.
Because that whole
I
thing
don't
is
know.
much better.
I don't know. I mean, like, Facebook is one thing, but then I'm thinking Instagram and all these TikTok,
Right.
Tinder, blah, 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 Badoo, blah, 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 or
Right.
whatever. I mean, I'm seeing TikTok. And the thing is, I don't like it because when you turn on the camera, it makes you prettier than you actually are.
Yeah.
I mean, correct me, right? I mean, like, no, these fucking rules, these wrinkles, everything about me is the way I've fucking been fighting all my life. This part of me.
And you're an
no.
attractive
I like the way
person.
I'm a fucking life.
You don't need a algorithm to like make your nose a little squarer or pointy or
They all look the same, Bob.
Right.
No children, dogs,
Right.
you're poor, rich, whatever, white, black.
right. Yeah, but if I've experienced that my whole life. That time that it speeds.
First time in history.
Yeah.
I mean, like-
Internet is just actually electricity will not work anymore. But our cars won't run. This shit would have hit the fan way.
In like 30 years and
Right.
40 we died.
Right.
And I mean, just having like a fever.
Right.
I mean, like, you can see the
So you would kill them. Yes.
started.
Right.
And like today, I was just like getting eat, or you have like
Right.
you have like a cough, or you have a rash.
Right.
Common cold, basic
Yes.
stuff. It still exists.
Right.
I mean, like, fuck.
Well, let's see. Since 2019, I haven't taken a bath.
Wow.
You know, I hose my body is better off for that.
That's weird though, because I get a lot of shit.
Right.
I don't care. But the thing is, I like what I kind of like having my natural
Oils.
thing going on.
Yeah, your oils, right. And I mean, now the thing is, I like shower, but and in the summertime, the sun hits the hose, it stays there all day. I turn the hose on and I spritz myself off. Right? And he sees her naked and he faints. Right? And so he's on the ground and she doesn't have her cane with her, so slings, right?
Oh,
leaning, I will intercede with the policeman, right? And so kind of went unconscious. I said, buddy, you missed it by 2 roads. Let's walk into the house. Let's,